Hey everyone, Seth Campbell here. Welcome to the new Segway Says podcast. Well, this episode is going to feature one new song and one song that appeared in this podcast not too many episodes ago. It was a long time ago in terms of filming because heaven knows I can't keep up with this podcast anymore. But it was in a fairly recent episode, but I have reasons, and I'll explain them later. The returning song is A Trick of the Tail by Genesis, and the new song is Happy Together by the Turtles. Probably a song you know really well. Now, both these songs have swing eights pattern, and swing eights rhythm, and two, and one, and two, and three, and four, and both of them have at least a section in F sharp minor. They're similar tempos, so it's going to be pretty easy to see how this works as we get into the two songs. Now, Happy Together, as I said, big hit for the Turtles. It was, yet another of those groups of, young guys who all dressed the same and named themselves after an animal. Didn't have quite the success the Beatles did, but they did have this song, which is still used in movies and lots of commercials. I first discovered this song in The Muppet Show. Florence Henderson did a rendition of it. I think it was Florence Henderson. It's amazing how much of my musical taste can be traced back to things like The Muppet Show. But that was where I first heard this song. And it's your classic cheesy love song. Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, you tell me you belong to me and ease my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together. And for the chorus it switches to F sharp major. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Imagine me and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be the only one for me, 'cause you and you for me, so happy together. And it basically just loops those two, the verse and the chorus, over and over and over and over again. Now, if you remember Trick of the Tail from the previous episode, you'll remember that its verses sound kind of similar to that. F sharp minor, swing eights. Born of the life and the safety of gold, he left and let nobody know. Born with the towers he had known from a child, along with the dreams of a life. And then it starts to go in a different direction. On the wide open road, the blinkered arcade, in search of another, sharing his life. Everyone looks so strange to him. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? He cried and wept. So it goes in a totally different direction, and you may remember we actually used the chorus, which is in D sharp minor, for the Segway last time. Horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? We use that to segue with, you're as cold as ice, willing to sacrifice our love. But we're not using that section for the segue this time. We're using the verse, the F sharp minor part. And that's why I think I can justify doing the song again so soon after the last time. Now, Trick of the Tail, you may remember just, for the context, it was the title track of the first Genesis album, with Phil Collins replacing Peter Gabriel as the lead singer. They never performed it live, which I think is a shame, because it's a sweet little song. It's a song about a mythical monster with horns and a tail that leaves its home to search for its soulmate or its purpose in life and wanders into a human city. And humans, being humans, capture it and start running all sorts of tests on it and showing it off at circuses. And, which is probably what we do if some crazy mythical creature just showed up in our city. But this is, it approaches that tale from the perspective of the creature, like, wondering who are these strange things that don't have horns or a tail that are poking and prodding me and putting me on display. And I think it's sort of a mythical, almost a fable, I guess, because it does kind of have a moral to it. Now, you could do this either way, because both Happy Together and Trick of the Tail come back to end on this F sharp minor section. I like to do Happy Together first because it's, lyrically it's cheesier, but it's lyrically it's a lot simpler, and the beat and the guitars, the beat is more heavily emphasized. It's a ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. And that kind of fits with the lyrics being very straightforward, very down to earth, very, self-explanatory. Whereas Trick of the Tail, the lyrics are a little more vague and ethereal, and the music feels that way as well. And it's played in the higher range, so it's a little lighter. I kind of like going from the clear and obvious. It's almost like an exhalation. Like you get to the end of Happy Together, and it's just and it has a build up at the end already. Together, so happy together, and how is the weather? That line seems unnecessary to me. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba. And that's how it ends. But you can have that build up and then just sort of a release. It feels like a breath of fresh air. Maybe I'm getting too metaphorical here, but like mood-wise, I like it that way. But it can go the other way as well, which is the last of the don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? Welcome home. Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. But to me, it doesn't flow as naturally. Not least because, and this is something I hadn't really considered up to this point, is the downbeats of Happy Together hit pretty heavily. Ba, ba, ba. Like I said, they kind of chunk. Whereas with Trick of the Tail, you've got the right hand doing that, but there's this left hand sort of doing a counterpoint that's a little off time, or uses the off beats. And it's easier to go into that from the simpler downbeat rhythm than it is, I think, to go to the simple rhythm from the more flowy pattern. But maybe that's just me. As I've said many times in this podcast, I'm just presenting some ideas. Please feel free to take them, do whatever you want. That's, the whole purpose of these is to give you inspiration to come up with some segues and throw things into your set list that you want to do. But that's about it. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. I'll see you in the next episode.